Good morning, students. Welcome back to online classes. Yesterday we started doing section C of unit 2 environment, and the section C's name is Tippitty the flying squirrel. And yesterday we studied about how author got Tippitty the flying squirrel when she was few days old, and she was red, chestnut red, and she loved her bushy tail. Her friends were Dawn and Broke, the dogs. And she loved to sit on the shoulder of the author. Her favorite meal was milk and custard. She loved eating that. And breaking a walnut, the Himalayan walnut, the hardest walnut, was an easy task for her. So now let's read further. Tippitty was the means of my solving a problem in natural history regarding which controversy raged for many months. Now, Tippitty helped the author to solve a mystery regarding which a controversy has been raging for many months. Has been going on. Raged means going on for many months. The Himalayan nutcracker, that's the name of a bird, because it has a very long beak and it can break the nuts. So that's why they are called Himalayan nutcracker. Nucifraga hemispila, that's the scientific name of that bird, had been credited with the holes one frequently found in the walnuts. And the people used to think that since that bird has a long sharp beak, and so that's why they used to keep doing holes in the walnuts. For many months people kept on thinking like that. So, in Himalayas, I tested the truth for the assertion means this statement by placing walnuts under a tree where a pair of nutcrackers used to come. So, what the author did, how did he solve the mystery? He put some walnuts under a tree where those nutcrackers, those birds used to come. The birds turned over the nuts but did not attempt to break them. And to his surprise, the author noticed that the birds were turning over the nuts. They saw the nuts, they touched the nuts, but they kept on turning them. But they did not try to open them, break them. After this, a few nuts were collected in which Tippitty had already made holes and placed them under the same tree, carefully watched. Now what the author did, he kept those walnuts in which Tippitty had already made holes. He kept those walnuts under that same tree and then watched the birds very carefully. In due course, the birds came along. In due course means in due time. After some time, the birds came along and at once selected the bored walnuts. Bored walnuts means the walnuts with the holes, and began pecking at them. Pecking means breaking at those walnuts with the holes and working their beaks inside the holes. So this mystery was solved, that nutcracker did not make holes in the walnuts, or rather they chose those walnuts in which there was already a hole was there. Already somebody has already made a hole in those walnuts. They chose those walnuts for taking out the seed from them. So that's how he solved the mystery of nutcracker with the help of Tippitty. Flying squirrels are said to lap their drink. Lap means drink quickly. But Tippitty was much too ladylike to make any such fuss over her milk. She was usually in rather a hurry for it. So instead of lapping means eating with the tongue. But she was not at all ladylike, and she was always in a hurry that she doesn't have time to lap her milk. And consequently means therefore, more of her force went into the face went into the saucer than was intended by nature. Intended means required by nature. Like more, she put her whole face inside the saucer. Saucer means the plate in which the milk was kept, and the whole of the face would go inside the place, and she used to drink the milk very quickly, very fast, with the result that a certain amount of liquid went up her nose and made Tippitty sneeze and splutter. Splutter means choking sounds also. Like she used to drink her milk so fast that some of the milk used to go inside her nose, and ultimately she has, because of the lack of the oxygen, she has to some choking sound used to come from her mouth. Sometimes several attempts were made before she really settled down to have a good drink. But when she did, she got her lips well into the milk and no attempt was made to lap. And it was a tough task to make her drink her milk. And because author had to try several times to make her agree to drink her milk. And when she drank her milk, it was not at all ladylike. It was not at all sophisticated. It was not at all very clean. Because she used to put her face, the whole face used to go inside the milk, and then the nose will fill up with the milk, and she used to choke because of that. She frequently accompanied me. Accompanied means go along with me and the dogs on an afternoon stroll. Stroll means walk. After being ruthlessly means without any pity, without any sympathy, pulled out of a box, because she did not like to go on afternoon walks, because she was a nocturnal animal, and so therefore she loved to sleep at during noons, and she did not like to go for walks in the afternoon. But since author used to pull her out of a box without sympathy, so that's why she had to go. For first 100 yards or so, she was perfectly happy, jumping along behind. A flying squirrel's natural mode of progression when on the ground is a succession of jumps. Not the graceful little hops of a striped squirrel, but a rather lumbering gallop. Lumbering means slow, gallop means jump, with all 4 feet in the air at the same time, and the tail head straight up in the air, and the last 4 inches or so curling over. So it was the flying squirrel, this Himalayan flying squirrel was, she jumped, she walked nothing like the normal squirrel we commonly see around our trees. The common squirrels, they just jump gracefully. They jump one jump, then second, then third, then fourth. This flying squirrel jumps as long jump, like all the 4 feet in air at the same time, the bush standing, the tail standing straight, and then last few inches they will roll in the air and then come down on the ground. So that's how Tippitty used to jump for few hundred yards when she went out for afternoon walks. And the tail head still curling over. This not being adapted for long distance. Adapted means carried on. But this jumping was not carried on for long distance. Tippitty would soon overshoot. Overshoot means go beyond her endurance. Endurance means capacity to bear, and came to a halt. Halt means stop. And then she would stop. If I were near, she would make for my leg. Make for means run for my leg. and be up on my shoulder in the twinkling of an eye. In the blink of an eye, she would, after 100 yards, she would just declare that she cannot jump any longer. And what she used to do is, if the author was near, she would just reach to his leg and then come and sit on his shoulder. Or if Broke or Dawn happened to be at hand means nearby, she would spring onto one of their backs and get a free ride. What she used to do, that she was, if the dogs are nearby her, she would jump on their back, sit on their back, and she would get a free ride. An oak or a deodar tree invariably means without fail attracted her attention. And she would make her way to the extreme end of a branch and nibble off. Nibble off means eat away all the young leaves. The point of the stem, which grew out of the branch, appealed to her most. Appealed means attracted her the most. And she would pick off leaf after leaf. Pick off means eat away leaf after leaf, just nibbling the juicy end of it and throw the rest away. And what she used to do is, she used to just eat the small leaves and suck out the liquid from the branch, and rest of the twig she used to throw away. However, she was quite happy on any tree or a shrub and found something to eat on all. And she was happy. She was not at all choosy about her food, about what to eat. She was happy for any tree she would find, and she would pluck the small leaves and suck out the liquid from the small branches. As I have already said, Tippitty was nocturnal and woke up a little after sunset. If left to herself, if she was not disturbed during the day, she used to wake up after the sunset, because she was nocturnal, who used to be active during night, provided she did not get a good dinner. If she did not get a good dinner, then she would behave like this. She would be prepared to play and look about for odds and ends to nibble on all night through. So throughout the night she could roam around, jump around in the house and eat away the small leaves in the garden, from the small trees, from the branches in the garden. I very soon discovered that a good feed just before I went to bed had the effect of making her sleepy too. Now, author find out very early that if he gave a good dinner before bed, before him going to bed, this would definitely make her sleepy. On custard nights, Tippitty would invariably overeat, because custard was her weakness, and so that's why she used to overeat it. Extra eat, overeating करती थी वो, and that meant sleeping solidly till early hours of the morning. And on custard nights, on the night when she used to get custard in the dinner, she used to eat very soundly, and then after that she used to sleep solidly till early hours in the morning. She very seldom means rarely, woke me during the night. As a rule, I would wake up to find warm, soft, furry ball curled up against my neck, but occasionally the awakening would be much ruder, and I would find Tippitty having a lovely game on my toes, my ears, or my hair. Generally, what happened, because she used to wake up in the night, she used to wake up and jump on the author's head, hair, toes, or eyes even. There was something extraordinarily fascinating about her. every moment. So, and when you notice that when the author was sleeping and Tippity used to jump on him during his sleep also, that time also the author did not say anything to her or shout at her or throw her out of the window or tied her with the chain. No, this was because he loved her. He loved his pet. So that's why he did not say anything to Tippity. There was something extraordinarily fascinating about her every moment. The author was attracted towards her. He was in love with her, because that's why he's saying that in every moment of hers, in whatever she did, there was something fascinating, something attractive in her. And her little chirrups of means sounds of pleasure was very sweet to hear. Tippity had an assortment of calls. Assortment means variations of calls. Her growl was most alarming and would have done credit to an animal 10 times her size. So she used to shout so loudly that an animal which is 10 times bigger than her size would not be able to shout with such intensity with which Tippity used to shout. So Tippity used to defeat an animal which is 10 times bigger than her in size if there was a competition of shout between them. Tippity would win that competition. She had a temper of her own. She used to show her anger. She was very angry. She used to get angry at times also. I am sorry to say, with every member of the household, master and the dogs included, had occasion to remember. It showed for a second and was gone again, as suddenly as it has roused. Roused means became active. It has come. The anger was for only short-lived. It came only for few seconds. It would, like the soda water bottle. Like the way bubbles used to rise up, the next moment they used to settle down. But every member of the house had that moment to remember when Tippity was in anger. Right from the master, the author, to the dogs, to all the other servants in the house, every member had seen Tippity in anger, and they had a moment to remember for their lifetime. But in that instant, her sharp claws had torn some offending hand, or her terrible teeth had sent a dog howling out of the room. And whenever she was in anger, she would scratch, she would eat away, tear with her teeth, and she would just send the other person, either the person or the dog, away from him in that anger. She used to be very dangerous, very, very attacking when she was in anger. Poor Tippity, her end was tragic in extreme. Extreme means to the highest level. It was very tragic. She got a very, very tragic end. We hope it was all painless. She had been tied up just before dinner, but somehow the end of the chain got unfastened. Unfastened means loosened up, opened from the leg of the chair. I heard her hopping. Hopping means jumping about the boards on the veranda and dragging her chain behind her. Dragging means taking along her chain behind her. I went out to bring her back, but in that instant, something flashed past me. Something flashed means ran past me. There was a tiny squeal. Squeal means cry, and a fox had poor Tippity in his relentless jaws. Relentless means merciless jaws. Her death was avenged. Avenged means I took revenge of her death, but that is another story. So, Tippity's death, Tippity's murder was he took the revenge of Tippitty's murder from that fox. Fox had eaten up. A fox was hiding in the bushes near the veranda, and when the fox found Tippitty was alone in the veranda, jumping in the veranda, so at that time she pounced on the squirrel, and she caught the squirrel in her merciless jaws, and the fox ate Tippitty away. So that's how Tippitty met her tragic end. So that's all. I hope you have understood the chapter. Thank you very much. Have a nice day. God bless you.